Okay, we are here today. I'm your host here, Rebecca, and today I have my sister-in-law, Brandy. Say hi.
Hi.
So, oh great, the mic picked you up. We've had some problems with her mic. No, actually, it's not been her mic. It's just been her voice. She's this little mouse when she's in the front of the microphone. Anyways. Oh, we're just here sipping on some, I don't know, should I call it? The dirty Dr. Pepper? That sounds really weird. Now that I say it out loud and on a podcast, it sounds a little weird. Just sipping on some dirty Dr. Pepper. Dr. Pepper. It is a rumchata with strawberry and cream Dr. Pepper. We're just trying some new things here and there. So, Mommy's got some time away from the kids. So, get to enjoy some time. Okay, so today, we've literally just been sitting here for a while chatting, but we're finally ready to now start the podcast after we've been here for a little bit. But today's theme of stories that we're going to go over is, do we like petty, or do we like petty revenge?
I'd say so.
I was going to say, if I had to pick anyone who is probably in our whole family the queen of being petty, it would be you.
Oh, thanks.
Well, okay. I mean it in a way where
I'm not petty, but I can be.
You can be. And I would say people that could be petty in our family decide not to, whereas you could totally just go with it and be like, I don't care. Yeah. I don't care what they think of me. I'll do it.
Exactly.
So this is where we're going to read some stories about if we do like petty revenge, and depending on if it's good petty revenge or if it's just downright revenge. So we're going to go with, oh, I did it in the wrong one. Oopsies. This is what happens when I don't have my stuff put together. It's okay. We'll just go like this. Okay, so first one I have, and I'm just going to go off, there's going to be some little ones, just some short, simple, sweet ones that are, fun to listen to, and then we'll get into some more juicy ones.
Cool.
Okay. So this one's called Scammer Called Me from a Live Number. I called him back over 100 times for the next hour. So I get a lot of phone calls like everyone else, but this guy called me twice in a row, so I called him back because it's my work phone. I tried to tell him that I won. He tried to tell me that I won the publishing clearinghouse, whatever that is. I told him I would split the $5 million with him if he could just tell me my name, which I told him when he answered. He said he still got it wrong, and I laughed at him. We cussed each other out for a few seconds before he hung up on me. But I was just getting warmed up. I proceeded to call him back over 100 times for the next hour. He would answer every so often and cuss me out and threaten me before hanging up. I stopped for now, but I saved his number in my phone. I will be calling him periodically just to harass him. And before anyone else says I'm wasting my time, this is something I actually get a lot of enjoyment out of. It's free entertainment as far as I'm concerned.
I'm all for it.
Yeah. That I would do it. I totally do.
Yeah.
No. Someone had, the first comment was Craigslist free items with this number. I have heard people doing that, and it is so funny because they'll be like, "Stop calling this number. I don't have anything."
Yeah.
That's sweet. That's sweet little revenge right there. I will say we've had experiences. Everyone's had experiences with getting scam calls.
Oh, I don't necessarily get scam calls. I don't really get much anymore. I get the texts, but before I used to get prank calls.
Really?
I guess. One dude called me, and I was with a bunch of friends, and he was trying to order a burrito, and I called him back, and I was like, "What kind of burrito do you want?" And
We're going to go with it now.
And yeah, I was going along with it, and he's like, I didn't call you. I don't know who you are. And I was like, yeah, you just called me. I'm calling you back. You wanted a burrito. And yeah, I remember that.
Oh, my word. Okay, so I will say, I don't really have, like, obviously, too much funny stories about scam calls. It's more of I don't really answer them, and I've always been told, like, if they really wanted to get a hold of you, they'd leave a voicemail. Yeah. And even then, you could listen to it and be like, I'm not going to call them back. But there was this one time, this is when I would answer them in the beginning before it was like we'd get so many of them. And this was a time I think there was something going on with like the hospital. So there'd be numbers that I would need to answer that I didn't answer at first. And then I realized it was the hospital. So it was kind of now I kind of have to answer these calls to make sure that I do catch them if if there's something important. But then you get the occasional scam callers. So there was this one time and I think this was when I was pregnant with my second, and my mom was over, and this guy, I answered it, and this guy had a foreign accent, and you could just tell right away. I'm like, okay. So I'm being the polite person and be like, no thanks, I don't need this. Mm-hmm. I don't want you to call me anymore. And he'd be so insistent. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to hang up. I don't want to be rude. I don't care now if I had to do that. This was just a few years back. I was still that shy. Like, I don't want to be a rude person. My mom finally took the number, my phone. And she's like, she doesn't want it. You need to go. And the guy, she was like, I'm sorry, but we don't want this. You need to hang up. And the guy, before he hung up, said, suck my dick. And my mom didn't have it on speaker, but she had this shocked look on her face.
Knowing your mom, that'd be so funny.
My poor mother, out of all the people that could have happened to, it was my mom. And when she hung up the phone, and I'm like, what did he say? And she said that. I'm like, oh my gosh, like, my poor mother, like, I can't even imagine, like, out of that, all the people,
for something like that, I would have called him back.
Oh my word. I mean, if I had, like, more of that, like, confidence, then I would have totally been like, how dare you blah, 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 and I obviously don't think I could do that in front of my mom.
I probably would have been like, when and where?
Jeez.
Just for funsies.
Oh my word, really laid on thick. Like, oh.
There was one time I got it was one of these like prank calls, but it was one of those apps where it's like an automated like situation. So it was this girl who was screaming at me like, "Why'd you sleep with my boyfriend?" And I was like, "Who's your boyfriend?" And
is he important?
And like,
does he have money?
Yeah, and I was like, "Well, what's his name? Like, who is he?" And
yeah, let me see if I know him with all my many suitors.
But it was one where you just kind of like click it and it gives a response back. Oh. And whoever was controlling it was just it didn't make sense. But the main part of it was, why'd you sleep with my boyfriend? I'm like, he's mine. And I was like, okay, goodbye. You're not giving me any information. I understand this is just a scam, but
oh my gosh, yeah. So like I said, like this is good petty revenge. Yeah. Because I'm sorry, those scammers, they're just the worst. They're just so annoying.
Yeah.
And sometimes you got to give them a taste of their own medicine. Fun, yeah. Some of them, yeah. Well, I mean, if they're all scammers, they're not good. Okay, so this one's also pretty funny. So this one is driver paid tolls in pennies. I made them wait while I counted. So this is, yeah. I was working for the toll authority before they got rid of the e-pass, and this guy comes through with a toll of about $5. He raised his cupped hands up towards me full of pennies and nickels. Once I took them, he said, "Here you go, enjoy counting," while laughing to himself. So I told him, "Enjoy waiting here right until I'm done counting. Otherwise, I'll call the state troopers to bring you back." So he pouted the entire time while I stacked pennies, and accidentally knocked them over, having to start again a couple of times. He was about over by 20 cents. I gave it back to him and said, "Here's your change. Aren't you glad you waited?"
I like that.
See that I think those are funny. I don't mind petty like that. Petty, that's pretty good. So, let's see. Another one. This one's a good one. I'll do this one, and then I think I have another one, and then we'll get into like some of the ones that are maybe a little bit more, I guess you'd have to see if this truly is petty revenge or a little bit more.
Yeah.
So, this one says, a barmaid laughed at my drink order. So, I was on holiday with my son, who's 14, and we were watching the football in the bar in the evening. I don't really drink, but do enjoy a cocktail while on holiday. The server came by and asked if we wanted drinks. I asked for a pina colada. Those are so good. Mm-hmm. And she snickered a little at the order and kind of laughed at an okay, then walked off to make it. This annoyed me a little. I'm just a grown man wanting to drink a tasty cocktail. What's wrong with that? When she brought the drink back, I got my petty revenge. As she was placing the drink on the table, I said, "My mom loved these. God rest her. I always have one on the anniversary of her death to remember her." She looked horrified and tried to shuffle off quickly, so I asked her for a cocktail stir, so she had to come back again. When she came back, I took a sip with the straw, kissed my hand, and pointed to the sky, trying to look sad. She was so visibly uncomfortable, I had to stifle my own laughs. She noticeably avoided our table multiple times after this. I think that's funny.
I would, yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think...
I probably wouldn't have been petty. I probably would have been like, what was that for? But...
yeah, I'd be like, what's wrong with this? Like... But no, I think... what he came up with just on the fly...
yeah, that was...
That's pretty quick
yeah.
to come up with something like that. Which sometimes makes me kind of concerned when people come up with, like... these quick little, like, oh, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, do you just have this on your mind? Like, if someone does me wrong, I'm going to do this. And I'm like, okay, you guys have a weird way of thinking things. Like, I don't think I'd be able to calculate, like, quick enough to be like, you are going to pay for this. I'm just going to be like, okay, moving along. I'm just going to ignore you
always
and go back to
prepared.
my... Yeah, always be prepared. Jeez. So, okay. So that is just another little one. Yeah. Okay. So there's so many of them that are kind of like that, where they're like, oh, be happy or something. And someone's like, my mom just died. And you're like, and then they're like, no, my mom's happy and somewhere in like Jamaica or something, but I just had to do that to make that person think. So, yeah. So, okay, let's see. There's like so many. Oh, eventually I'll have so many of that. I might have to like have you guess on which one we should read by the title. Those would be funny. Okay. So, okay. I think we'll end that one for the end because that one's funny. Okay, but here are some crazy ones. This one is, neighbor took my parking spot after I shoveled. I poured water in his windshield.
Oh.
Yeah. And this isn't petty. So this is r/petty revenge. So there's literally a whole subreddit, literally of people putting down their petty revenge, which some of them are not so petty, I feel like.
Yeah, some of them are.
Sometimes you go a little too far.
Yeah.
So it was a cold winter day. 8 inches of snow had fallen the night before. And the windshield made it feel as if it were in the negatives. This is in Fahrenheit. I drive an all-wheel drive SUV, so I have no issues getting out. My wife, on the other hand, drives a Prius. Which slides with the smallest amount of moisture on the road. Probably not the best car to have in the winter.
No.
So...
probably not the best car to have at all.
Well, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, well, if you're going to be in below windshield weather, like, you should probably get a sturdy car. My car was down at the time, so we had to take my wife's car. I spent 45 minutes in the freezing cold shoveling that car out so we could get to the store. We were gone for an hour, and when we came back, our neighbor had taken the spot I had shoveled, which would make me mad.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're in an apartment area, and there's no assigned,
exactly.
you can't get
you
mad.
can't.
I don't know. So this part, which is what they're saying, our apartment complex doesn't have assigned parking, but in the winter, it's understood that if you shovel a spot, it's yours. I don't think that's how it goes.
I was saying, and does that apply to everyone? Does everyone know that knowledge?
I was going to say, is this your understanding or is this everyone's understanding? Was it on a note?
Yeah, this is mine.
Like, everyone should know this. Apparently not, man.
I can tell you right now, for my apartment, if there was one that was shoveled out, anyone who came in would go to that one because that's the clearest spot.
Exactly.
I would do that, so.
I mean, yeah, a lot of times in an apartment, it's first come, first serve.
Exactly. And everyone wants a clearer spot, especially in the winter time. So
yeah, because no one's ever going to, in an apartment complex, not everyone's going to actually have a shovel to literally bring out to shovel. No one has a shovel.
No, I go to my neighbor's because he has one.
Exactly. When I lived in apartments with Justin, we never had a shovel.
Yeah.
But yeah, we just had to literally just whatever car we had, a garage, which was nice, and poor Justin, he let me have the van in the garage because we had a kid.
Yeah.
So it made it easier for the mom not having to try and drag her kid out in the cold when the car was
when you don't have a shovel, you either have to kick it out, and that's what I usually have to do. I just have to like kick out my tires and kind of turn my steering wheel so the tires have the traction. And
yeah, but this is like, yeah, because then Justin, he at one point had a little Malibu, and then he had a Honda, and either way, they're both little cars.
Yeah.
So both of them at one point would be out, and yeah, it wasn't fun. I will say there were so many stories from apartment complex. That is another thing we'll have to do, is find a bunch of like funny stories of people living in apartments. Actually, there's a subreddit for that too. I've looked at so many subreddits. Okay, anyways, back to this story. We kind of got off track. Okay, so basically, it's understood that if you shovel a spot, it's yours. So when I saw his car in the spot I just had shoveled, I was pretty pissed. I went inside and filled 2-gallon jugs of water, went back out and poured them on his windshield, rinsed and repeat. I must have poured about 10 gallons of water on his car. Being how cold it was already freezing by the time I poured the last gallon on. It sat like that overnight. Just to have that time to go out and keep going back in and pouring 2 gallons at a time.
And not to mention, it's going to take that person twice as long to... they go scrape that ice. That ice ain't going to come off.
Oh, no. So it says, the next morning I got to watch as he helplessly tried to scrape all of these layers of ice off his windshield. Don't take my gosh dang parking spot. And then he says, edit, you guys need to chill. This isn't, am I the a-hole? I'm not looking for judgment because I already know I'm an a-hole. The point of this sub is to tell stories of petty revenge. I'd say I was being pretty dang petty.
It's very petty. Obnoxiously.
Edit number 2. Sorry, I find it so funny people telling me I committed vandalism.
Didn't.
No damage was done.
No damage was done.
No damage was done. Except for wasting like 5 to 10 minutes of his time. Ever hear of freezing rain? It does the same thing I did to his car. Never does any damage. This was also many years ago, and the cops haven't come to arrest me yet. I think I'm good. Oh my word. People are like, the cops are going to come for you.
Yeah, no. If his windshield broke or something.
Yeah. I'd say if it somehow, because of it, caused damage, like breaking a window or maybe causing his windshield to crack, then
that's not petty. That's just, you're being ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, this is kind of ridiculous, the amount of time he wasted just to do that in the freezing cold.
And
just to see his neighbor waste 10 minutes more
Yeah.
to scrape his windshield?
Yeah.
Like, is it really worth it?
Right.
Is it really worth doing all that just to be like, oh my goodness, just wait until the morning comes? Like, he's probably like got an alarm clock set first thing in the morning to just stare out the window to make sure he can watch his neighbor like try and scrape at it.
Well, and the thing is in an apartment complex, when you scrape, it like echoes, so everyone hears you. And yeah.
Oh yeah. No, you know what's funny? I've seen more. Of course, I didn't do it this year, but anytime we have like the frosted covered windshield, and instead of trying to scrape, because obviously there's been a couple times where I'm like, okay, get in the car, we're gonna go, and I'm like backing up, and I'm like, I can't see because I didn't. And you know what? In my defrost in time on the way, I've been stupid like that sometimes. But there are times when people are like, get like a gallon size Ziploc baggie and get some really hot water and just literally, or people say even like
I've done that.
A hot towel to just put it over this, like laid over really quick, and that way that area defrost a lot faster. And I'm like, that's pretty genius. I probably need to do that because I hate scraping and it's so bad for your car.
Well, it's just not fun.
I know it's not fun either. Usually when Justin leaves before going to work, I'm like, can you start my car? So usually it's defrosted by the time he gets there.
My automatic start, but
I miss that. We used to have one in the van, and then we got the Traverse because Justin wanted it, and it didn't come with an automatic starter, and I'm like, this is your fault. Your cats are so interested in my stuff. Yeah.
they're just nosy.
Oh, no. Oh, but they're so sweet to me now. You're so sweet. Yes, you are.
I mean, he was just smacking you like
I
20
know.
minutes
He
ago.
was smacking the living daylights out of me earlier. Like, this is my backpack. So, okay. Those are like, that was probably easing into the, is this petty or is this just, you know, you're going a little nuts. So, the next one is, oh, this one is funny. I've heard of this one before, but I figured you'd like this. You don't like your boyfriend seeing me braless in the dorm? Then he won't.
In the dorm.
Yeah,
okay.
so this is in a college setting. So I live in a dorm room, or a college dorm, on an all-female floor, which I went to college and I lived in an all-female
I think
dorm.
I've heard this one, yeah.
Yeah, I usually wear a bra if leaving the dorm building, but I'm not going to put on a bra under my shirt just to walk down the hall to the bathroom. A few days ago, I left my room and walked 10 yards down the hall to the water fountain, refilled my water bottle, and went back to my room. I was wearing a white tank top and no bra. The tank top was fitted, but not see-through, so you could only see the outline of my nips. There was a small group of people hanging out in the hall outside a few of the rooms, but I didn't think much of it until around half an hour later when I got a knock on the door from one of the girls I'd seen in the hall. She said something to the effect of, "Hey, so sorry to ask you this, but if you go out into the hall again, could you put a bra on? My boyfriend's out there and he was staring a little, so..."
Yeah.
So,
No.
I'm super non-confrontational, so I was like, yeah, sure, sorry about that. And for the rest of that night, anytime I left my room, I put a bra on or a sweater. And that was the end of it. Or so I thought. The next day, my roommate told me she had overheard the girl telling a few of her friends about the incident while in the bathroom. She said the girl was making it sound like I'd purposely been trying to seduce her boyfriend, wearing basically nothing, taking my time at the water fountain, posing to push out my tits, the whole works. When she left the bathroom, my roommate said the girl was actually acting it out at the water fountain, pretending to be me. That night, I passed the girl and some of her friends on the way to go brush my teeth. I wasn't wearing a bra. I was already in PJs. The girl looked pointedly down at my chest, and all of them started giggling. But the last straw was when the entire dorm got an email from the RA yesterday saying she'd gotten some anonymous complaints about people dressing inappropriately in the hallways and asking that we all just make sure to be keeping things covered up. So here's where I got my petty little revenge. I knew that the girl's boyfriend doesn't go to college here. The girl and I were in the same orientation group and chatted a bit back then. I also knew that due to the pandemic, we weren't allowed to have non-student slash family guests in the dorms this year. So I used the same anonymous complaint form to issue a complaint about people bringing their off-campus boyfriends into our dorm and then not wearing a mask. Masks are mandatory in the hallways, although not frequently enforced. This morning, the RA emailed again saying that due to anonymous complaints, they'd be enforcing the off-campus guest rule by checking IDs of unfamiliar guests to make sure they were students from then on. Really, this girl should be thanking me. If she was concerned about her boyfriend seeing the vague outline of my tits in the dorm hallways, she no longer needs to worry.
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate it when girls blame other girls for something their boyfriend was completely doing.
And I mean, if she's looking, then everyone's looking. It's not just him. You know, if she saw it, he obviously saw it too. So,
yeah.
And if he's gonna look and it's gonna bother her, then she needs to address that with him. It's not address it with the person who apparently is inappropriate.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I'm all for especially if you're in an all-female dorm where there's usually no guys and you're just going down the hallway to get a water. If I get it when girls don't want to wear bras. It is so comfortable. I will say I love working from home because I don't have to wear a bra half the time.
Yeah.
It is amazing how much better it feels. And I've grown up where once you have that, that you grow your breast and everything, you need to wear a bra.
Yeah.
You have to wear a bra. You have to cover up. And I will say that it wasn't until later on that I'm like, oh my word, it feels so much better the more you don't have it on. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I don't blame her for going out. If there's going to be guys around, keep their eyes to themselves. If you're going to, I mean, obviously, if it's completely no clothes and you see a guy's in the hallway, you're like, maybe I'll go back and get a jacket or something. I don't know. It depends. But this girl seemed like she just wore a tank top and she must be really small chested, so it didn't really show anything.
Well, and even if it did, she said it wasn't see-through. Whether or not it was.
Yeah.
I mean.
Of course she says white, and all I think is, are you sure it wasn't see-through?
That's what I'm thinking, white. You're going to see either the shade of your nips or...
I mean, she's like, I'm wearing a white tank top, and I'm like, white. Not the best color for no bra.
Must be very thick tank top if it's not see-through.
It must be a really thick tank top then. So, yeah, no, in that case, I hate it when it's first off the girlfriend gets mad at the girl instead of the boyfriend.
And she did it, she said, 30 minutes later. If that was me who had a problem, then you address it right then and there and been like, hey, can you not come out here with that? If I was her, I mean, I could care less, but she waited so long to go confront her about it. If it's not hurting anyone,
why does it matter?
Yeah.
So obviously the boyfriend was staring and she didn't like that and she got jealous and she's trying to stop the other girl from being herself or doing something that's comfortable for her in an all-female dorm. So, and then of course, obviously that it wasn't a innocent request because she was making fun of her later. Yeah. So honestly,
well, she was exaggerating about it according to the girl's friend
she's lying,
who heard.
Yeah.
So she wanted attention about it.
And she's probably ran and raved saying, yeah, my boyfriend would not stop staring. And that's just, I can't believe she'd just wear something like that. We all could see her boobs and nips.
Just making her boyfriend look worse than what he may or may not have been.
Yeah, he's denying that the fact that you have a boyfriend problem, not a neighbor problem. So yeah, those are ones that I'm like, no, I mean, he wasn't even allowed to be there, so yeah, he kind of did everyone a favor by not having just a random guy who doesn't even go to college there.
Exactly.
So let's just, not have a creep out checking out all the girls there. Okay. So the next one is, Oh, let's see. Okay, this one's hilarious. Okay, this was about 3 years ago. It got so it's this one says lie about having COVID to take 6 weeks off while I do your work for free. I'll throw an all office party to announce where you really were.
What?
Do you need me? Okay. I know. These titles, they're such a mouthful that you're like trying to process them and you're like, I didn't understand that. Okay. So basically, COVID happened. I guess this person was saying he had COVID and was gone for 6 weeks, but he technically wasn't.
Okay.
He didn't have COVID. So they're going to figure out where he really was or what he was really doing.
Oh, okay.
Okay. And it was like COVID wasn't his excuse. Mid-pandemic, my boss disappeared. Just as we were gearing up for our most challenging time, intensive project in the last 5 years, he dropped off the face of the earth. We kept working for a week or so without him because everything was virtual and the virtual work world was still so new. We didn't really need him. We were delegating tasks ourselves and completing things on our own. We spoke to coworkers maybe twice a week. But some decisions were beyond our discretion, so we could not move forward on these projects or aspects of the project until we received a response from him. About after 7 to 10 days total of silence, we called his boss's boss, who informed our team that our boss had COVID, so he wasn't able to work right now. Why wasn't they told that sooner?
Yeah, you would have figured someone would have been like, hey, your boss is gone for
like,
X amount of
hey,
days.
we were informed they're sick and they're going to be gone this so many days. Just so you know, you're not going to have a boss at this time. Yeah. So we took that at face value, of course, sent him letters of well wishes, and didn't bother him with work stuff or ask why he was able to notify his boss, but not us. 3 weeks go by, and still not a word. We're beginning to discuss amongst ourselves whether or not he's maybe died. We're terrified and horrified and so concerned. We're contemplating calling his extended family. We're sending flowers and care packages to his apartment. Meanwhile, the project has descended into chaos because no leader was appointed in our boss's stead, so we are forced to navigate several layers of bureaucracy in order to accomplish most anything at all, whereas in the past he would have just signed off in real time. Around week 4 or 5, one of our coworkers suggests he doesn't really have COVID, but is instead using it as an excuse to take time off. We all jump all over our coworker, asking how he could insinuate something like that, and lamenting about what a tragedy our boss is probably living through. People were chilly to him for days after that.
I think it's a valid reason to use. I'm sure a lot of people did that. Because even me, I technically tested positive for COVID, but I would have never known if I didn't lose my taste. Otherwise, I would have just been like, "Oh, I'm sick." So when and at the beginning of it, every little thing was COVID. You have a hurt toe. Oh, you have COVID.
Yeah.
So
it was the talk of the talk.
People probably just had a headache or something and assumed it was COVID. And then, oh, well, you're not going to come back for...
Every symptom they had for COVID was literally anything.
Exactly.
It could have been anything, but they literally wanted to rule out COVID first, which was, crazy. So, of course, the one guy who suggested it, they're all like, "You're so heartless to think that."
I think that's a very good reason to think it.
So, week 7, we're undertaking a letter writing campaign to upper management demanding an acting boss be appointed while ours is recovering. The project is a month behind schedule. We're all working overtime every day, sometimes on weekends without extra compensation, just to keep up with the cluster F, I won't say it, of the boss's sudden absence. Which, oh my word, what type of company or place is this to not appoint a supervisor or something, or a manager?
Especially after like maybe 1 or 2 weeks, fine, but
after week 3 or 4, a month?
Yeah.
A month of not having, this is like going
especially
on almost
for
2
how
months.
big they're claiming this situation project is.
They're a month behind. That would not
he
work
said virtual.
in our job.
They said virtual was new to them, so if they're not understanding or new to this new idea, then there should have been someone there to kind of assist them with that.
No, I totally agree. That just baffles me on how this company is working. So I just keep thinking like,
had that been our company, I would have been like, nope, no, thank you.
Oh no, honestly, if I had to work overtime with not having an actual boss coming in and saying, "Hey, you got to get this done," I'll be like, "No,
Yeah.
you can't do that to me. I got a life out here."
I'm done.
Okay, putting it all on us who are new and we don't even have a boss. No. So, week 8, he finally reappears, logging into a morning meeting as though nothing had happened. He looks very well rested, well fed, and has a tan. Not at all like someone who's just come out of the other side of a 6-week respiratory virus. He says something quickly to the effect of, "Yeah, that was brutal. Glad to be..." Oh my word. "Yeah, that was brutal. Glad to be better and glad to be back. Let's get to work." But doesn't want to talk about what happened or answer any of our questions like, "Were you in the hospital? What was it like?" etc. Fast forward to about 4 or 5 months after this. Wow, this is going on for a while. My sister sends me a promo for a fairly new reality show. I'd never heard of it, but it's on a major platform, and says, "Isn't this guy a friend of yours or something? I swear I've seen him and you together." I watched the trailer for this show, and lo and behold, there's my boss participating as a contestant on a reality TV show.
Well, if he's got a tan, that would,
and
like, he should have lost color, should have been looking dewy or something.
I was gonna say, he shouldn't have looked so nice and glowy and like you've been from a spa or something. Yeah.
I feel like everyone who came back to work after being gone for a while with COVID, they're always like, I don't really feel very good, but I'm getting there. And he's just, hey, y'all.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Hey, yeah, that was rough.
But I'm here.
Yeah. Let's get back to work. Like nothing happened. It did not take long for me to put the pieces together and realize he took extended leave to go on TV that he knew he wouldn't otherwise get during this massive project, and lied about it under the guise of a vicious disease that nearly all of us had lost a loved one to. For how big that thing was, that's just... I mean, he really, if you were going to fake a sickness,
but the thing
COVID was the time to do that.
COVID was the time to do ever and anything you wanted.
Honestly,
people talked about how they traveled to foreign countries because no one else was doing it,
or they
tickets
could work
were
from
cheap.
Home. So when they could work remote, they like had a laptop and they're like, "Oh yeah, we went to like Florida for like a couple months before. My boss didn't even know I was not even in the same state."
Exactly.
Yeah, people took advantage of it, and like I said, if it had to be any other time to fake being sick, it would be during COVID.
Exactly.
No one wanted to get near you. You showed a cough, go get tested.
And yeah, it was a serious situation, but I mean, every other person got COVID, whether it was for a headache or for the actually having the virus.
I
or
never got COVID.
Something. So, well, that's the thing though. If you
I
had something,
I had to quarantine
you would have
twice because Justin got it, then James got it, and I was like, great, now we got to quarantine twice. And there was like one time when Justin got it, the kids and I packed up, and I worked at my mom's, and we lived there for a little bit for like 2 weeks while they were quarantining, because it was going to be way too hard. The second time, we just decided we're all quarantined together because I couldn't do that again. I couldn't leave the house for 2 weeks. I had to get back to where my home was.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was... I'm glad I never had to go through that. I will say, it was when we went back to the office, it was like 2021, where we all thought it was dying off, and then winter came back of 2021 at the end of the year, and people were starting to get really sick again, because that's when everyone's like, oh, I think we're, like, done here. After, like, 2021 came in, and we were all starting to, like, see the numbers go low, and then by the end of 2021... winter started up and people were getting like nasty sick again.
Well, that's the thing though, is they were getting the normal seasonal sickness.
There were cases of COVID and like flu and all that coming back.
But because everything was considered COVID too, and I don't agree that all the tests that went in there, I mean, there's been proven all those tests that went in there
get the
didn't
COVID
actually,
shots and they'd still get COVID.
No, but how the test positive, because there was a study where people didn't even send in tests, but they were getting results back that they had COVID and they never took a test.
Oh yeah,
and
it was all over the place.
Everyone had COVID or sickness. So there's got to be some trace of COVID in you.
And I just never knew.
That's the thing. Like I would have never known until I lost my taste. Then I was like, I've got it.
I will say I was probably I probably felt the best that year because I took more precautions to. I don't know. I was around it so many times. Everyone in our family had it at one point. I know I didn't, but I probably got it later. I don't know.
I think my mom and dad got it, but
yeah.
I don't know.
Yes, because...
I think my dad got it on his birthday because I think I was traveling and it was his birthday, but I mean, I just like kind of stood outside and said happy birthday and whatnot, but...
Wasn't there one time that we had Thanksgiving and I think my dad came over and got sick? I don't know what it was.
Oh, but then it was your dad. Yeah. It was at your kid's birthday party. One of your kids' birthday party. Yeah, because then it got my brothers got it. And then my parents got it. And then I got it. Thanksgiving,
everyone had like fevers and
I remember it was your dad.
And then they all got tested and they were like, "Oh, it's all because of Becca's dad."
I remember that.
We were all there and he was sick and we just, I'm like, you know what? We were going to get it all one time or another. And I think that's when, I don't know if that's when, I think it was when one of my kids got it too during that time. But we all quarantined together and then we just, that was a rough time with school and everything.
I remember that. That was funny.
I'll have to, here I'm working from home. Justin had to stay from home. So I'm taking care of Justin and he's dead behind me in the bed while I'm working with two other kids at home. And I had to, like, go in between working to help my oldest set her up for preschool or, man, she never even got a graduation because they canceled school the rest of the year after spring break.
I remember, yeah.
That was a weird time. Okay, anyways, so lost track. I'm trying to remember where I was. Okay, hold on. Okay, great. So let's see. I sit and stew with this information, unsure of how to handle it. I know confronting him won't get me very far, but I can't just do nothing, right? I'm not close enough with any of my colleagues to discuss this with them and trust them that they wouldn't run off and send an all-company email about it. No, because I have to be the first one to tell someone.
I would have went to like HR or someone high in the company about it.
Yeah. Man, I wouldn't be able to keep this to myself. That's why I vent everything to my husband because then I'll be like, did you know what she did? You don't even know her, but I don't have anyone to talk to, so I'm going to tell this to you. Random stranger coworkers you don't even know of.
Yeah.
So I slept on it for a few nights and then the opportunity fell right in my lap. I got an email from corporate encouraging teams still working remotely to plan a virtual social functions to keep a collegial culture going and to stay in, oh man, I'm like messing this up, but whatever. A collegial culture going and to stay in touch. Sometimes these things are not well written. Okay, among the suggestions were game night, trivia, and watch party. With the premiere of the show only a couple weeks away, I got busy telling everyone how I'd been meaning to get into this show. And it's so enticing and exciting, basically laying the groundwork to guilt them into coming to an impromptu virtual watch party off hours. Ugh, I never do that. If it was off hours, here, come watch this online over Zoom.
Yeah, no.
I would never. That would be so awkward.
Yeah.
I offer to get special shirts made up and send them to each person's house. Whatever I had to do to get the attention of corporate. Finally, I sent an evite to all my boss's bosses and any other members of corporate I could justify inviting without making a total jerk of myself. He says the A word. I just can't say it. Oh man, I should probably say I can't. I could say it. I just choose not to. Yes, I'd get punished if I did. No.
It's weird. Anyway,
I know. I'm such a weirdo. Oh my goodness. Okay. I just don't like saying swear words. Okay. Anyways. I keep losing myself. Where am I at? Making an A of myself. Because this is entirely virtual, my boss is unable to overhear any of the chatter. He doesn't realize I'm hyping up this show, and he doesn't realize I've planned a watch party for it. I wasn't inviting him unless he had the balls to explicitly ask about it. I was hoping he wouldn't have heard about it at all, not until afterwards. That was really the only way this could work. The night comes and I am screen sharing the show to a whopping 64 people, a huge chunk of my department. Many members of corporate had showed up because I was the only person stupid enough to buy into their virtual social work party scheme, so they felt pressured to support it. I was holding my breath, hoping this would go my way, bracing myself for some kind of curveball, but there wasn't even that dramatic of a build-up. Right at the outset, they introduced the premise. Is it premise? Or premise? 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 The premise? Okay, whichever. Which included the contestants being a COVID-safe bubble in an exotic location and gave a brief overview of each contestant. As my boss was introduced right down to what he did for work, and I could see people register delight and surprise, then go blank, just before sliding into confusion and rage. Instead of watching, I'd be watching everyone's faces.
I'd be like, click off. And
yeah, I'd be like, oh, screenshot, screenshot, screenshot. So the chat took a drastic turn from, oh my goodness, and I knew him when, and all sorts of pithy jokes to a brave member of the team, or perhaps one that just pushed a tad too far by all the extra hours he pulled into this douche's absence, sent the message, wait, when was this filmed? My audience dropped from 64 to 58 to mid-30s, and by the time the episode was over, it was just me and the other 15 core members of the team. All of corporate's like, oh my goodness, like, what's going on here? One asked if I'd already known, but some members of the team are very close to the boss. So all I said was, well, I definitely do now. And wrapped up the call pretty quickly after that.
All right, guys, bye.
Yeah. Oh, this is a shock. Wow. Golly. Perhaps one of the best bonuses is that you could already tell from episode 1 that the character arc on the show assigned to our boss was bumbling idiot. He had his true colors on in full display and some production massaging up them to the 11th degree. Boss was fired, my good buddy was promoted to his place, and I'm an office legend now, especially since no one is 100% sure whether or not it was intentional. And it was also satisfying that it was almost worth the dozens of hours of uncompensated overtime that led to it. Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah. That's a good one. That's crazy. Oh my word. Okay, I'd be livid. Actually, no, I had. So honestly, I kind of did have something like this happen with my boss, where she took leave of absence for a surgery and was gone from November all the way till into January. And we hadn't heard anything from her. We literally hear nothing from her. And we're like, is she actually coming back? Like, we didn't hear anything. And then all of a sudden we just hear she's not coming back. But we were all so fed up because she was not someone that was just not a team worker. No. I honestly, that if I'm kind of glad I didn't quit all of a sudden being like, oh, great, because now she's not there.
Yep.
So now I'm like, literally, I had like at least 3 people who knew the situations that were going up with how our relationship was. Literally messaged me after they all saw that, and they're like, aren't you like so happy now? And I'm like, oh, you can't believe how
Very
relieved. There's like this huge weight off my shoulders. I don't have to worry about her literally criticizing me all the time. Like backhanded compliments. She was just so weird. I don't imagine she was a good person in some areas, but she was just not a good supervisor.
Yeah, no.
She'd be like that person that is like maybe like the fun aunt you see once a year.
Yeah.
Where she'd be like, oh yeah, she's got that attitude. She's got that like, oh, I want to have some fun. Has no kids. Just has a bunch of nephews and nieces. She'd be someone like once a year. And that'd be it. And that'd be my relationship.
Yep.
So. Oh, goodness. Okay. Do you want to... Actually, no. I have one. Okay, I do have one. Is it this one I want? There was one that had, like, a bunch of, like, people commenting their petty revenge underneath it, and each one just got better and better. But I gotta remember which one it was. Okay, hold on. That one's pretty funny. We might have to do a part 2 on petty revenge because there's so many good ones.
Yeah.
Just like little ones here and there. Okay, it might be this one. No, it actually isn't this one. Oh my word. This is what happens when I think I'm prepared. Not. Okay. Oh, actually, it might be this one. Yeah, okay. Here it is. This is what I was kind of like mentioning earlier. So I said, a stranger tells me, smile, it could be worse. Instantly regrets it. So this will be our last one because the comments after are just hilarious with their comments. So, and this had like over 42,000 upvotes. So like, this is just like 42,000 people liking this post. And then the amount of them, like over 2,000 and everything comments after that. So you see a lot of people look at this. So last week I was out and about making a start on some errands I had. As I was walking, I was going through my long to-do list in my head. So I wasn't frowning. I wasn't smiling. My face was just in neutral. Unless you have a resting.
RBF.
Yeah, RBF. So a man starts heading towards me. As we pass, he tells me, smile, it could be worse. I stop. I stare at him for a moment. And then I said, my parents were in an accident. My mom died on impact. We're turning off my dad's life support tomorrow. The guy looked like a robot being suddenly shut down. His face fell. He looked like a deer in headlights. He stuttered and stammered. He was obviously trying to think of something to say. And when he couldn't, he turned around and speed walked away. My parents are both fine. There was no accident. But it just annoys me when people think they have the right to dictate how people are feeling and what expressions they make. Kind of goes off on the bottom of that. The reason why I picked this post was not because of her post. It was because of the comments after that. Someone said, I was once told, smile, you'll be prettier. I was just walking to work, listening to a podcast, neutral face. To which I gave my best impression of the Joker grin. Eyes wide and manic eyebrows at my hairline, showing as many teeth as possible could. And then with a crazy smile on my face and between my teeth, am I pretty yet? The guy walked away pretty fast. Not sure why. So, and then this other one's like, last time I got catcalled, I started fake barking at the guy and walked toward him at speed. He shot off, looked like someone had scared the crap out of him.
Goodness.
I know. So I just like some of those comments, like I think those are even funnier.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, am I pretty yet? So, oh goodness. So, okay, yeah. Of course, there's that time when people maybe put down the fun joke as someone had died. And you don't want to, like, do that for every joke. Because that can be a little, like, just mean.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of these things, like, my parents just died.
I did that to a friend where he did a...
You said that?
Yeah.
Oh.
He did... He responded back with, like, your mom. And I was like, my mom's dead. And this is a friend that, like, an old childhood friend from California, and we were still talking, like, when living here. And so he doesn't know my family or, like, my life situation. And he was like, oh, I'm so sorry. And I was like, nah, I'm just kidding.
Oh, my God.
And he's like, dude, I feel terrible. And
I could just see you, like, having the blankest, like, most serious face expression, and then being like, nah, just kidding.
Nah, just kidding.
Just kidding.
Just joshing you.
Oh my gosh.
My mama's fine.
Maybe a little too fine.
No.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so that's what I have for today. So I have so many more, but it's like we're already getting into almost an hour here, so we'll take a break or take a stop at today's podcast and kind of just talk about anything else we want to talk about. But yeah, honestly, there's so many petty stories, and those are just some of the, I went randomly to some of the newer ones, to some of the top ones there are some, and I've heard them on other things, but man, they were just crazy ones. So I really want to get into a podcast or a themed where we go, is it petty or pro revenge? And then there's even a subreddit that's nuclear revenge. Oh my word. I don't know if those are supposed to be scary or just completely just like a bomb being dropped. But I'm actually like really wanting to just get into so many random subreddits because there's so many good ones out there. So what is it? First one we did with Justin was over gaming because of course I asked like, oh, what do you want to go over? And he's like, let's do something about gaming. And I'm like, of course, out of all the stories I had collected, I had not gotten anything about gaming.
So you don't ask him.
No. So we did it on the fly. And that's the one where literally he went a little nuclear on. I'm just like, okay, we're going to get a bunch of hate comments on that one. He's like, I don't care. I'm like, okay, but this isn't your podcast. This is mine. You're going to make people just hate me for being with you. You got such a jerky husband. Yeah, I know. I tell him that every day. Tell him, hey, tone down on the jerk face. Oh, man. And then what is our last one was blowing up over the little things. So there literally was this like this small, what you think was a small little issue became this huge blow up. So one of them was about someone's, this man had been cooking because his wife doesn't like to cook. She's a stay-at-home mom, but he likes to cook. So he's been cooking. Everyone seems to like it except his wife. And his wife doesn't like his cooking, literally throws a little tantrum over it. Like she literally takes this tiny little bite and then throws her spoon down and makes this disgusted looking face. Like a little 2-year-old.
Goodness.
When you're like, hey, eat this. Oh, that's so yucky.
Yeah.
Like literally she, I guess, makes a huge deal and then she'll go off and eat a Hot Pocket. So here's like homemade by scratched food, like food that he's made from scratch, and she'll go and get like a frozen dinner, which I have no hate on frozen dinners. honestly, they can be good sometimes, especially if you need a quick meal to set up with your family and you don't have time to do homemade meals. But I will say, if you have already a husband, oh my gosh, I would love a husband who could cook like that.
More than boiled noodles.
Yes. I mean, Justin can barely do a grilled cheese sandwich. You know how many times he's told me, I can cook. I can cook if you needed me to. Yeah, but every time I offer for you, if you want to make something, you're like, should we get something to take out? Like, I could order takeout. Okay, I love that's how you're, but literally we're on a budget and you still think, we have enough.
Yeah.
We literally have $20. We'll see what we can get until we get paid the next 3 days later. And I'm like, no.
Goodness.
We have plenty of food. Just literally figure out what to cook.
Yeah.
It's like that time when if they're not already made, you just got to find things, a bunch of random things to put together. There's a bunch of stuff. So that's where I'm in that department where I'm like, okay. You know, if this is gonna get done, it's gonna have to get done by myself. So if I ever die, I tell him plenty of times, please find a wife quickly after me. Please get married again. Those kids,
one that can cook and clean.
You need a woman's touch. You need a woman's in your life.
Oh yeah.
Like, the kids need a woman, a motherly role in their life. You need a womanly touch to do, just to make sure that you're not going to make a bachelor out of that house with the kids.
Like a stank house.
Oh, my gosh. I could just imagine if I wasn't there, oh, my gosh. That's why I tell them constantly, if I die, please, please get married again. Like, I know so many women are like, oh, my gosh, I'm so, I can't even imagine you thinking of getting married again after me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, are you just wanting me to die so you can get married to someone 20 years younger? And I'm just like, please, I'm begging you, get married if I die. You need a woman in your life.
You need something.
You need something, because honestly, I don't know what. I don't trust you being able to take care of the kids all by yourself.
Especially since you guys got daughters, so.
Yes, we have daughters. Even with a boy. Even with our son.
Well,
it's I'm sorry, it's just the kids in general. I mean, I maybe do too much around the house and everything. I mean, obviously, I don't do too much, because you can see, if you see my house, it does not look clean. But I definitely take care of finances, and see, that's the thing. When we first got married, he took care of it, and I was like, if you die, I'm doomed. So then that's when I'm taking action of, I'm going to write all this stuff down. I need all your passcodes and all that, so that, and it was never I need to make sure that
not
you're doing everything.
Thing,
yeah, it's not a control thing. It was more of a...
just in case, yeah.
It was it's definitely...
You should be aware.
It was a security thing.
Yeah.
Hey, if something happens to you, I want to make sure that I can help and well, if you're dead, not help you.
You should be aware of
need to help.
How things work, and...
We got a family on the line.
Yeah.
And if I want to make sure that we're going to be able to live comfortably, and I need to know all my passcodes so I can... the worst thing is if something happens and you can't literally log into something because you don't have the passcode or something, or they're going to be like, oh, we need your husband's permission.
Oh, he's dead.
I had a collection agency call me the other day, and I know collection agencies are the worst, but it was for something I totally forgot. And I actually called them to make a payment, and they're like, oh, we need your husband to be there present to give you permission to pay for this. And I'm like, you need permission for me to pay you. You don't want my money because you need my husband here to give approval, to give you money. Okay, then I won't pay. You really don't want me to pay? Then I won't pay. He ain't gonna call you.
It'd be one thing if you're taking out money, because they don't necessarily, if you're not on there.
This is something to
but
pay
to pay
off. They don't
it's
care how you pay it.
All right, you want to pay for this person you may or may not know? Okay.
It was a really freak accident thing. So it took me like 2 more weeks to finally be like, because our schedules are kind of like overlapping, and we have kid events and sports and everything. So I forget super easily by the end of the day because I have kids with me. Plus he brings another one home from babysitting. So we're kind of like all over the place and we forget. And then it's like, by the time it was like 2 weeks after that one call. And so I made sure he was there. And the lady is like, oh yeah, we'll just do this. And didn't even need him. I'm like, okay, I'm a little confused because 2 weeks ago I was told I couldn't because it was in my husband's name and I needed him to be there present to give approval. And she's like, oh, I don't know why. She's like, yeah, I know some states can be like that, but that's not this one. So I don't know. I apologize.
New person.
Honestly, it had to be. You brought this person from out of state to work here, and she's like got all these rules
I
mixed
hate when
up.
that's like with our work, when I'm like, oh, you're not on the account. Sorry, I can't speak with you. I'm the one who set it up. Well, it don't matter. You're not on the account.
I know, right? Oh,
His agency knows. The agency might have you, but we don't have you. Sorry.
I know.
I need their approval. Well, they're nonverbal. They have dementia. Okay, well, then figure it out.
I know. I understand how those can be frustrating.
It can be frustrating, but rules are rules.
Rules are rules. And we get in trouble if we bend those rules to be like, just because we feel sorry.
Yeah. And
we feel some kind of compassion towards those people being like, I really want to help you. But I ain't getting in trouble.
Yeah.
I'm not putting my butt on the line.
You're not worth it to me. Sorry.
My word. Here I'm talking about compassion. You're like, you ain't worth it, girl.
I said to me. To me, you mean nothing.
Oh my gosh. Oh, Brandy, you mean nothing to me.
I'm okay with that.
I know. You would, yeah. Out of all the people, you'd be like, okay, bye, Felicia.
My brother loves me.
Does he?
Yes.
Does he?
One of them does.
Do they?
Your kids love me.
Rosie
does.
I was going to say, do they love you? I think my oldest is getting annoyed by you. Give me a hug. Give me a smooch. Give me a hug.
Smooch me.
You have said that. I think it's hilarious. No, I can be a little overbearing, be like, hug me. Okay, go away. Actually, no, I probably tell them to go away more because they always find me.
Well, yeah, I see them once or twice a week. I'm like, hugs.
Okay. Come here. Don't go away. And I'm like, and then they like come from you to me, and I'm like, no, go back. Go back where you came from.
Your oldest one, I'll like kiss her head, but then she'll like lick me. And I'm like, I didn't even ask to like kiss you or you kiss me. I was just kissing you on like the face, and like, and
she is so random.
Bite or kiss me. You're so weird. Like,
okay, I can't blame her though. I'm a weird person, and I'm so random with my kids. Like I'll sing opera so often in the house, like just screaming and yelling my loudness to them, and it's like no wonder they get so loud because I'm loud right back at them.
Well,
I'm not like I'm fighting fire with fire when it comes to me. And Justin, usually he's hiding in the other room or the bathroom. Like, we'll be like, where's your daddy? Where's your daddy? Where's your dad? Oh, I'll go find him. And, oh, he's sleeping.
There's not very many places to hide in that
He doesn't want me to wake up. Well, why does that ever happen to me? I don't want you to wake me.
I don't want you here.
It's crazy though, because I want to be a stay-at-home mom, because honestly, I do want to be around them more. It's the little time I have with them that it gets a little overwhelming, because it's like I have this little time after work to get things done in my house, which never get done.
Yeah.
I am literally so behind on everything, and will always be for the rest of my life if I just had more time. And my weekends, I tell Justin every time, I'm just like, man, if we just had one more day to the weekend, I'd probably get something done.
If we only worked Saturday and Sunday and had Monday through Friday off, that's how it should be.
Yeah.
Or just 2 days a week.
That would be weird. Would we work like...
I don't know. Even if it was 10-hour days.
I was going to say, we work 10-hour days or 15-hour days. That'd be...
You don't have to work 15-hour days. You can either do your normal 9 to 5 or your 10-hour days and only 20 hours or whatever, but get
Everyone
paid for the 40 hours.
Stay-home parents during the week.
Exactly. The world would be a better place.
Would it? No, I don't know. I just like saying that. No, that's our goal is hopefully, hey, if this podcast bring money, well, cha-ching bonus. But honestly, I'm not looking at that anytime soon because we are so far into the beginning parts of it. But yeah, no, I would love to become a stay-at-home mom so I could just focus on the family, on some side projects, the house. I hate work right now. I mean, I think everyone does. I feel like with everything happening at work, I'm just like, I have no motivation for it anymore. Mm-mm. It just isn't enjoyable because they've literally sucked out every little thing to make it somewhat enjoyable.
Agreed.
Yeah, like I used to think every job I would get, you find a goal, go towards it, and grow within that company or work towards that, building yourself up in that area. And it hasn't been until all the years I've worked and all the places I've been at. This has probably been the first area, and I've been in this company for over 4 years now. But it's been just now in the last year that I'm really seeing how people are. And how they do not have any interest to help people, to help their own employees. And I feel bad because I really believe in the mission of the company.
Yeah, but I mean, every company has the mission.
But the leadership is just bonkers. Goodness. I know how many times I've said, if I was a leader or if I was a supervisor, I'd make sure everyone had a, free day off. No, I don't know. Vote me as your new supervisor. I mean, I will say,
vote for me as class president. I'll make sure we have popcorn every Friday.
Oh man, I love popcorn.
I hate popcorn on Fridays. I thought it was dumb, and it was usually burnt.
Well, they didn't know how to make it right. I'm an expert on popcorn. I know how to make it 5 different ways.
Sure, yeah.
I do. There's been places where they had the actual popcorn stand. I know how to make it, obviously, in the microwave because the microwave's easy. But I know how to do it. But I know how to do it on the stovetop and then the actual other popcorn makers. I grew up with popcorn literally being our main family snack.
Yeah.
And then, of course, I always dated people who didn't like popcorn, and I was like, fine, more for me.
More for me.
And then I made little mini-me's who absolutely adore popcorn, which I hate because then there's not more for me. It's all for them. Including my soda. They all drink my soda, not Daddy's soda.
Well, because you don't tell them no, and Justin does.
That's
the
difference. He refuses to give them any drinks.
Justin doesn't share.
Here, Daddy, can I have a drink? No. Well, then I'll just go get Mommy's. That's why we go through Mommy's so quickly.
I share because they're cute.
Debatable. No, okay.
And I don't have to keep them.
I think I'm biased. I think they're definitely cuter than some other people's kids. All kids are adorable, depending on when and where. Sometimes
all kids are not adorable.
They can be adorable. They have their moments. There are moments where they can be adorable.
Kids have moments.
Kids are not always adorable, though.
A lot of kids aren't naturally adorable.
I mean, I sound on here that I hate kids, and I love kids. I want another one. We have 3, and I want a 4th.
No.
I absolutely love kids. That's why I want to be a stay-at-home mom, so I could just stay with home with all my little clan of kids, that I have. Should get an Australian Shepherd to just herd the kids.
Herding the kids?
That's the dog I want. And then they're like, they're a herding dog. You need something for them to herd. I'm like, fine, we'll just have plenty of kids for them to herd.
You need a bigger backyard where the kids can go around and you can make them.
Well, that's our next plan, is eventually getting another house, a bigger house, and a bigger backyard. But with the market, it's not going to happen anytime soon.
Yeah.
I wish we could be like those families that are like, let's build our home. Yeah, that would be like 10-year plan. Because
Maybe if you
lumber is
weren't in
expensive.
Iowa, but
Yeah. We're working on our projects. And like I said, we got things. I've come to peace that if we don't move out of the house we're at, which we're already very overcramped in, we'll be fine. You know, there's people that live in apartments with like a family of 6 to 10 and with like a 3 or 2, room apartment. If they can do it, we can live in a house with like 2.5 bedrooms. I say a half a bedroom because it is a very small bedroom, the nursery. So, goodness, okay. You have anything you want to mention?
no.
Life going okay? Obviously, as we're talking about work. Work sucks.
I know.
Okay. Oh, you got any plans this weekend?
No.
No, that's why you're here with me.
That's why I
The
allowed
only
you
reason
to
why
come
she agrees is
over.
because I said I'd bring alcohol. It's the only way she agreed. So, okay. Well, I guess we'll end it out here today.
Okay,
Whatever
bye.
day. What time? Never mind. I don't know if that's just me or if that's the alcohol coming in. Could be both. Anywho.
You didn't even finish yours.
I
finished mine before we started.
You did not.
Yes,
I was like
did.
already halfway through and you were still up here.
I still finished before you.
There. Sorry, that's a big treat. Goodness. Okay.
Who's petty
if
now?
you've made it this far in the podcast,
I'm sorry.
Sorry. That was a lot of random stuff. But like I said, this is the random. No,
I don't know what we're called.
What is this called again? The Reddit Randos podcast. Jeez Louise.
I think you need to go home.
I probably do. After an hour, because of the alcohol. You're going to be stuck with me.
I'll call Justin.
No, please don't. I
Get
need
her
I need a
away
little more
from me.
time.
We are gonna
I'm
fight.
Free. Let me just take my bra off and I'll stay a little longer.
No. You keep that on.
Whip them out.
No.
Okay. Okay, now down to being serious. Thank you for joining us. And if you've stayed this long and listening to us and think we're funny or just think we're downright crazy, just know that only one of us is, and it is her. So, no, no, it's me. Definitely me. I'll admit, I'm the crazy one. That's why I'm here, because I think I'm somewhat crazy enough to
Crazy
be
in
funny.
what aspect?
Shh. Okay. Anyways, if you guys are enjoying the stories that we're talking about, if you guys have any suggestions of like your favorite subreddits you want to talk about, or have any crazy stories of your own, we'd love some listener read-ins to like express and share on the podcast here. So at this time, you can email us at the Reddit Randos podcast at gmail.com. And eventually, you can also find us at our social media sites. I'll have those linked into one of our podcasts or links below. We'll be, right now, depending on what we're, because I'm on Buzzsprout with podcasting or our format. So hopefully wherever you're listening from, definitely comment, like, and subscribe. We'd love to hear from you guys. So otherwise, have a wonderful day, and until our next one.
Till we meet again.
I gotta find. Literally, I'm struggling with this this ending part. Where what do I say at the end?
Bye. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Okay, so until next time, guys. Goodbye.